All right, good morning, CS30s, or at least it's morning when I'm recording this. It's Monday, May 4th, Star Wars Day, I guess. It's raining outside, so hopefully by the time you watch this video, it's a little bit nicer. Today what we're going to do is go over using external files, a particular type of file called a CSV file, which doesn't really mean anything other than it's the common extension that they put on these types of files. CSV stands for comma separated value file. We did a little bit of files work back in the beginning of the course. We did a little bit of files work last year, so this is kind of like the OOP version of it. And we're going to use this loading and saving text files doc that we also used earlier in last year. Now we're going to call our attention to the OOP version. And I'm going to build a whole new program with this. And what I'm going to do, for those of you who are using CodeHS directly, is I'm going to do a separate part 2 video that just talks about the uses of this in CodeHS. That'll be really quick and show you some quick tips if you're trying to transfer over for IntelliJ or if you're trying to do it directly in there. So I'm going to focus on IntelliJ right now. Everything applies, but there's just a couple tiny little tips and tricks. I'll do that in a quick short separate video for those who need it. Okay, so we're going to use club member data. What I've done is I provided you links to 2 different files. So this is based on a robotics club. I thought I'd use some real data, kind of play with some of the names and some numbers, but this is the data that I've got. So I've got a first name, I've got a team number that uses a decimal. That isn't actually realistic, but I wanted to show you one working with decimals. I got a t-shirt size, I got a grade, and then I got a whether or not they paid their fees or not. So this is the data. Now I provide this data in 2 different ways for a couple different reasons. We're going to create this file from scratch because more than likely that's what you're going to do on your database assignment. And again, this skill is the last 10% of the database assignment. So if you find you're not comfortable with this at the end of this video and you don't want to try it for that last 10%, that's totally valid, but I'm hoping you're going to watch this video through and at least see the skills once. So the reason I've got the spreadsheet is one of the options is from either Excel, if you're looking at a spreadsheet in Excel, or from Google, is to go down and download as a CSV file. Now I thought I'd show you what this looks like here in just a minute. In fact, I've already done it here, so I'm just going to open that up in a folder. And it's going to come across on this screen. It's got a few other things. So here we go. And I'm going to open this up actually not with... I'm going to open it with IntelliJ so you can see what it looks like in IntelliJ. And this won't affect my program whatsoever. But this is what it looks like. So comma separated values, meaning you've got your value and a comma, value and a comma. So that's what a spreadsheet will turn into if you save it as a CSV file, okay? So that's what comma separated value means. Now we're going to actually create it from scratch, and so what I've done is I've given you that sample data in a separate Google Doc. You'll be able to, if you're typing this directly yourself, you're going to find that you will do it straight into IntelliJ rather than have this intermediary step of having a Google Doc. But for this example, I wanted to have it typed out for you. The reason I want to show you this version is because quite often, if you want to use outside data like we did a little bit earlier last year or earlier in the course, where we found something on an open data website kind of thing, it will come in as a CSV file version. So that's why I thought I'd show you how you can work with that as well. Okay, so that said, let's go to IntelliJ. So in IntelliJ, I've got a project open that has a bunch of different packages on the go. I'm going to end up creating a new package for just this example. But the one thing I do recommend when you're working with IntelliJ is you right-click at the top. So what I'm actually right-clicking is the name of the project itself, not the SRC folder, not the package I'm going to work with a little bit later on. And I'm just going to say New Directory. And I'm going to call this directory Data. So this is kind of like we did back in processing. We have a data folder. This is where we're going to store all our stuff. So if you look here, it's a little bit hard to tell on my screen probably, but it creates that folder at the top level of the project. Now this, inside this data folder, is where I'm going to create a new file. And I'm going to call this whatever I want .csv. Now in this particular case, I'm going to be working with this club members. I can call whatever I want. So I'm just going to call it members.csv. Again, .csv, comma separated value file. Now, just to show you what this looks like, if I was to go and find this doc, I'm hovering my mouse over the project name, and you can see up here that it's under documents, and then this other set of folder, and eventually this thing. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. If I go to that particular location, so I'm going to go to my documents, And it said it was in this folder, and it said it was in this folder. So this is my project. Sorry, I should go up one level. So this is the name of the project, IntelliJ Start. If I go into that, you can see that SRC folder, but now, and inside that, you can see all of the packages. But if I go back up, there's my data folder, and you can see that's where this gets saved. So when you save these, if you're saving them or downloading them, you download them into a data folder that's not inside SRC. So it's just inside the project folder, which in this case is called IntelliJ Start. Okay. Now, I've got this file, so what I'm going to do is I've created it in data. It's inside data, not inside SRC, so that's good. And I'm going to go and copy my data from my internet file that I provided for you. So I'm going to use this one. If I copy out of the spreadsheet, it puts a whole bunch of spaces in which we don't want. One of the things you'll have to be really careful if you're to type this directly, and I'll show you this in a minute, is that you need to make sure you don't have any extra spaces or extra lines. So I'll explain that in just a minute. So here's my data. So notice the bottom, when it pasted, it has an extra line. So if I wanted to add one, no problem. And if you were starting this from the very beginning, you want to add, let's say I want to add Julia. She's going to be on, oh, actually notice I hit space. That's just my standard, usual thing. That's actually a mistake. I do not want to have spaces after any of these commas. And you'll sometimes find that if you copy data off the internet, you have these extra issues. So 86103, let's say that Julia's on a team by herself. 6, let's say she is a small, she's in grade 11, and she has paid her fees. Now, the one that you want to look at really carefully is that you don't have extra enters at the end. Notice I've got a line 22 and a line 23 that are blank. When it loads this up, it's going to load it up line by line, and it's comfortable with having one extra enter, but if you have 2, it's going to try to load a blank club member, and it's going to cause an error. So you want to make sure that at the worst you only have this one line, and in fact I often like to go back to this. The other thing is, notice I've got a title at the top. I provide that because that tells you what the data is all about, but that's bad if we leave this on here, because what's going to happen is it's going to try to create a team member called first name and a team member called team number, and in fact what that'll do is it'll break because it's going to end up looking for a number and it finds the word team on it, so that's going to break. So the other thing you want to make sure is you don't have any of your title lines at the top, and that you don't leave an extra space at the top like that. That will also cause you a problem. So you want to make sure that your data is really, really clean. Okay, so now I've got this file pretty much ready to go. You'll notice that the booleans are capitalized. That's not necessary. It'll handle upper or lower case for booleans. You'll see in a little bit. Okay, so now I've got my data. So I'm going to create my my new package, and again, I'm going to do this entirely from scratch. So you are welcome to kind of fast forward part of this, especially if you're not going to type all the way through and do the whole thing with me. So I'm going to call this Robotics Club. Except I'll call it EX, and I'll call it EX6 for week 6, Robotics Club. And I'm going to create my new main class, and I'm going to set up my club member. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm not going to type this all in front of you. I'm going to get those 2 files set up and ready to go, and then we'll talk about the files part. Okay, so here is my main class setup. And I've added just one member by hand just so we can show by comparison what it would look like when we do the text files. So I've created an array list of club members. We'll go look at that class here in just a second. And there I've added my club member. So let's go and look at that club member class. I'll show you what I've done with it. So it's a standard instance class. What I've done is I've created 5 public variables, just keeping everything simple public. I'm going to pass every single one of those in as a parameter because I have every single one of those in my CSV file. So there's your standard constructor. And then I just made a little toString method. The only thing I made that's a little bit unique is that I added a \n in there. Remember, that's a new line character. So when it prints, it will print it as 2 lines as opposed to 1 line. Again, you can pause the video and have a look at those two that code in a second if you're wanting to see them more closely. Okay, so there's my standard way. I've run it down here. I haven't printed anything, so there was nothing printed, but you can see there's no errors, so at least I'm ready to go. Now, this would be the standard way. It's the way we've always done it, right? Add members, add members, add members. What we're going to do now instead is we're going to use the text file, the CSV file, instead. So, first thing you'll need to know, and it's something that's easy to miss if you're copying my code directly off of my help file, is that you do need an extra import. So it's java.util java.io.star. And IO stands for input output, and star means everything inside input output. So we're going to be working with that in a little bit. Secondly, we need to now go in is find the method. So in the text files code method, the first part of this document has OOP, the second part has just single arrays, third part is array list. So we obviously want to deal with the OOP one. And what it has here is a little bit of an example main class, which I'm going to walk you through. And then it has a load file method and a save file method. Now, you do need to alter the save for each type of array list that you're going to use, as well as for each type of load. So we're only loading one thing, this club members array list, we're only saving one, so that's good. You'll also see in here there's some highlighted comments. That's going to help you as you're using this code to figure out what it is you have to change and customize for each individual project. The other thing to be aware of, and I might as well mention this right now, is saving. There's a warning here. It's really easy to accidentally save as over your file and get an empty, end up saving over an empty array list and wrecking your data. So make sure you do have your sample data stored in multiple places. So in other words, what you might want to do right now is in IntelliJ, if you had a member of CSV, for example, you might want to right away create a backup file. And I'll just demo that because I might as well, called members backup.csv. And before I do anything else, we're going to copy that starting data into my backup so that if I do wreck something, I haven't lost the data. You'd be surprised how often that happens, that you just do a little tweak of something not quite right in your program and you use saving and then you wreck it. So the other thing I'm going to suggest we do is we don't do saving to the end. You always want to leave saving to the very end and make sure you have your backup to make this work. Okay, now, so we're going to copy just the load method. So when you first copy and paste it in, it's going to give you some errors. So we're going to copy that from here, so the load file method into into IntelliJ, and I'm just going to do it just inside the main class. You might want to create like a files class for external stuff a little later on, but there's my and main, and there's my load file. Now you see these two lines here, says this line is customized for whatever class you're creating. Here we create a new student with 5 variables. We're going to create a new club member, and I'm going to do this entirely from the beginning, just so because that'll help you figure out what's going on. So where I've got this templates.add, you see there and it says new student, and then there's that closing. I'm going to actually get rid of all the new student part here. And this particular line of code, I'm going to walk through entirely. I'm not going to skip ahead, even though it's a little bit longer. But I'm going to get this set up for you so it's ready to go. So the other thing you need to know is a little bit about how this works. Now we talked about this in class before, so I'm not going to go in detail, but basically what this is going to do is it's going to take in the name of a file as a string. It's going to take in the list you want to load. It's going to create something called a buffered reader and a file reader. And both of those things kind of are in that java.io class that deal with accessing old files. What it does, it says while file.ready. So what that means is while there's more than one line still left in the file to keep reading, it's going to read it. And so it creates here's this string called temp. So it basically relines everything in the file. It saves them into a temp one line at a time because we're in a while loop. Okay. Then what I do is I split it, and if you haven't seen this before, this might look a little bit confusing. Basically, there is a Java method that's really handy for working with CSV files called split. And what it does is it creates an array based on splitting the string by commas. So it looks for commas and puts everything in the array. So what's going to happen is if I look at my members.csv, it's going to read this whole line in with that dot read line. Then it's going to split it on the commas. What it's going to do is it's going to create an array in which element 0 is Elliot, element 1 is this number, element 2 is medium, element 3 is grade, and element 4 is the Boolean. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's going to do it based on that comma. So that's why it's called a comma separated value file. So I happen to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in my 5 instance variables in my class. You would customize this next line based on if you only had 2 or 4 or 10 variables, you'd have to tweak it. Okay, so let's do that tweaking right now. So now that we've got this array, we need to create our new temp list.add, and you'll notice down here the last thing it does is it it passes in temp list as a parameter, so it's going to live add those to the original on the fly. So new club member, and we're going to pass in our parameters. So now the parameters are coming in as elements of this temp array, right? So Elliot was 0. So Elliot is a string, and it's a string array. So all we have to do is say temp array at 0 will take care of the first element, right? Because it's a string, the name. The second thing, though, and actually I have an example up here which will help, is it's the double. Now, if I was to just pass in temp array at 1, that is a string. So this would give me an error. It would give me a format error. So what we need to do is we need to change this to a double. And we haven't done this very often, so this line looks a little bit complicated. It's actually probably nice that this is being done on video as opposed to in class, a little bit easier to understand. The line to convert a string to a double is capital D double dot parse double. Okay, you've seen that before. So what are we parsing? Well, we're parsing temp array 1. Right? So take the 1 value, not the 0 and then 1, and parse it. The third thing we have is the word large. It's just a string, so because it's just a string, we simply have to say temp array 2 at 2, comma, the third one is an int, so we have to say full word integer dot parse int, and we're passing in temp array at 3. And the fourth one is a Boolean. Close my bracket. Here, I'm off the screen, so it's a little hard to see. There we go. And the last one is Boolean, and you may not have seen this before, but it's the same. Boolean.parse Boolean. And it's going to take in temp array at 4. Close brackets for the create new. Close brackets for the add, and this is looking pretty sharp. Okay, so I don't see any errors live. Well, it's very easy to make mistakes, especially when you're trying to figure out the parsing, right? So again, this one here is a decimal, so I have to parse double. This one here is a string, so we're good. That's why it's just temp 2 and temp 0 are just strings. This one's an int, so I had to parse it. This one's a Boolean, so I had to parse it. Okay? Again, parsing means to convert from a string into its appropriate variable type. All right, now, here's how this works. So I don't need this line anymore. Theoretically, there's no reason why I can't add it. But now I'm going to say all members. So we're going to take all members. And, sorry, my mistake, not that. We're going to just call the method. So the method is a void method. We simply have to call load file, pass in the file name, which I'll deal with in just a second, comma, all members, right? So that's the array list. Now, the file name in IntelliJ is in data right now. So I called it data. If you were doing this in another program, you might not be using a data folder, so it might just be the name of the file directly. But in my case, it's data/members.csv. Semicolon. Okay, now, we don't know if this is working yet until we print it. So let's do a for I loop. I is less than all members.size. And remember, I created a string method in my class, so all I have to say in here is all members.getI, right? Because I created a string member method, it should print properly. Let's go see how it goes. Now, there's all kinds of different places this could cause errors. If I cause an error On mine, I'll pause the video and I'll just confirm it, but I'm also going to demonstrate a couple common errors here in a second. But I think if I run this, let's see if we've got it without error. I'd be shocked. It's almost impossible to do this without errors, but I'm kind of cheating because I'm using sample code that I worked with just a few minutes ago on the side screen. So I probably didn't make any mistakes. I also made sure that oh, well that's silly. Well, no errors, that's a good sign, but I forgot to print all, oh no, I don't want to do that. Uh-oh, we might have an issue here. All members.getI. Oh yeah, right, we had to print. We had to print all members.getI because all members.getI returns the string to print. Brain cramp there for a minute on video. Ah, it's working. Look at that. And those spaces are because of the way I created my string. Actually, I'm looking at this thing, and that's really hard to read. So I'm going to go back to my club members. I'm going to get rid of this /n because that is ridiculously hard to read, as it turns out. And I'm going to get rid of the fees paid because that's ridiculously hard to read. It sounded like a good idea at the time. And let's just rerun it and see if it works properly now that that string method is a little bit cleaner. And did it run? There it goes. Hey, Julia, and it looking pretty good, right? No errors. Let me show you a couple common mistakes. So, first of all, I'm going to go back to my CSV file. I'm going to make one really simple error. One of the most common mistakes to make is put extra spaces, either before or after a comma. There are ways to handle that, but it's a little bit trickier, and didn't want to make my code a little bit more complicated. There's something called the trim method, which allows you to take a string and remove all the extra things. But it's a little bit complicated. So I'm just going to put a little space here in front of the comma and see if it likes that. Actually, sorry, this one will work because it's a string, and strings don't mind spaces. If I, however, have one in front of a number, it's going to break that one. Because, of course, you can have spaces in strings, but you can't have spaces in numbers. So let's see this one, and this should give me an error. Oh, it did not give me an error. No, look at that. I thought it would give me an error. Okay, well, I think it will in some cases, so I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that for a second, why that is. So, errors. All right, no worries. So, this is working fine now. So, I'm not going to go through a ton of stuff with this code, but I do want to talk about saving. So, let's say for a second that somebody is going to pay their fees, and then we want to save, right? The rest of this program is up to you. I'm actually going to show you how save works. So right now, let's see. We'll go with let's go with the numbers at the beginning because it's easier to figure. So Elliot is 0 and Connor is 1. So I would want to do a searching and kind of figure out where Connor is. But let's say I want to make sure that Connor has paid his fees, and then I'll run it a second time and get Jeremy to pay his fees, etc. So let me think the best way to do this. I do want to demonstrate at least a little bit with the scanner. So I'm going to pause the video and add the scanner so I can at least. Oh no, we don't need to worry about that. Let's not worry about that. Let's just say that Connor is going to be it's going to be set to be true. So imagine I've asked them, what is Connor paid his fees or whatever. So Connor is all members. We know this just because we can see it. Again, you normally want to do this in a search. So all members dot get one. So that's Connor. We want to alter Connor's particular paid variable, and we're going to set that equal to true. Okay. Now, so notice that Connor was false to begin with. We're going to set that equal to true. Hopefully that I have got the right person. Now, then what we want to do is we want to save this program and see if it works. So we're going to go back and add the save method. Now you'll find adding the save method is a lot less things to worry about. There's a couple things you have to change, but basically you'll see it's really kind of easy to understand. It's a little bit more intuitive than the load. So in the save method, we go to load. Where's the end of load? There it is. I like to keep my load in the beginning, save second. Okay, here's this comment. The next lines are customized for whatever data you are getting. So what this does is it's the opposite of the load. whereas the other one uses something called a buffered reader. You'll see this one uses something called a print writer and a new file writer. Just so you know, the default setting for these two things is to write over top of the existing file. If it doesn't find an existing file, it creates one. So I'll just show you that just real quickly so you can see that what I mean by that. But again, it's going to overwrite the original file. The original file was loaded at the beginning and then it was closed. We're not actually looking at the file ever again until we call this save line. So it uses something called print line. It looks familiar. System.out.println. Well, this is file.println. So in other words, it's going to print the line to the file, and it prints a single line. It says prints the string to save. It does it in a for loop, so it's going to print to save for each one of our instances. And so all you have to do is build that to save string, including the commas. That's the most important thing. So it creates the to save string. Then it says add to it the first variable, so temp list.getI, right? And then we have to basically do this once for every single variable. So .getI it's not popping up because it doesn't know by default that this is a club member, so we're just going to have to look this up ourselves. So we had the name variable, if I remember correctly. The second one we called it what was the second one called? Team num. So that's what you have to pay attention to. So name plus a comma plus the next variable. So no comma for the first variable, right? So start the string, add the name to it, add a comma, add the second variable, add a comma, add the third variable. I'll double check these in a second. I name these right. Size, as in a shirt size. Add a comma, add the variable, grade, add a comma, oh, I know why this isn't working, right? I thought it was going to add the, what do we call the last variable? Well, actually, I can tell you why it's not working. It's giving me errors because, look up here. I say it's a student, which it isn't. It's the club member, right? That was from student, was the leftover from the copy and pasted example code. Now those all went good. Size it doesn't like. Let's go see what I did call size. There we go. Dot. Shirt I called it. There we go. And copy that one more time, and making sure that I change the last one to dot paid. Beauty. All right. So now this will save. So how do we use it? Okay, well, let's go up to the top. All members dot get one dot paid equals true. And let's run it. So now we have to do, how did I write that method? Save file is just a Boolean method, so like the other one is. So in save file, we're going to pass in the same file name as above, and in fact the same thing. So I do recommend you copy and paste it. Again, remember, you only want to do this once you have created a backup file, because if you don't, and this data somehow got changed or emptied or whatever, if you accidentally have an empty array list, it's going to save over an empty array list and wreck your data. So I'm going to run this right now, see if it works. And we'll run it, and when we run it, of course, if you think about it a minute ago, the data is not going to change in our run yet. Right? If I look at this, where's Connor? Connor is still false. Why? Well, because we printed first, then we made the change, then we made the save. But if we go look at members, there it is saved as true now. So Connor has changed, so it worked. I'll just demonstrate this one more time by saying, let's say we also want to change Jeremy's. We happen to know Jeremy's is 2. In the long run, you'd want to do this in a file. Or sorry, in a search, right, where we can search and look up a particular person's I value. Let's run this again. First of all, make sure that it does print Connor as being true, so that it saved it last time. Here it comes. Connor is true. Look at that. Jeremy is still false. But if I go look at the file live now, you'll see that Jeremy has been saved as true. So we are rocking. So there is your use of saving and loading. Saving is really simple to understand once you've done the load side of it. If you have any questions about some of this code, you're welcome to ask in the comments or to send me an email. But you build this string yourself, instance variable, remember when you're loading, that's where it's really hard because you have to deal with parsing. So if you parse it, if anything that's a string, you're good. Anything that's not a string, you have to parse. So hopefully you'll be able to pause this video, go back and forth and see things. I'm going to do a part 2 of this video that's going to be quite short, that shows you some of the subtle things when you're working with Code HS. Otherwise, again, this is part of the final 10% of the database assignment, so you're welcome to use this to get full marks. If you are not comfortable or you try it and you kind of have issues you don't think you can resolve, obviously you can still get a really good mark on database without it. So good luck, everybody, and we will talk to you next week, or of course I'll see you in the part 2 video. All right, bye-bye.